First thing on the agenda is a continued hearing, long-built homes. Moving right along.
No, they're here.
Oh, there he is.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Evan Watson with W Engineering, representing the applicant. So we've been here for a while now, and we've been asking the board to issue an order of conditions for the plans that we presented, mainly because we want to decide where the wetland resources are. And we haven't filed with planning board yet, and we haven't filed with stormwater yet, because we didn't know how many lots we were going to end up having, et cetera. So Lisa and I met earlier this week, or last week, a short time ago, and we tried to come up with a plan to get things moving forward so that we're not trying to get input from different groups when we haven't filed for their permits yet, et cetera. So what Lisa and I were talking about was putting our notice of intent on hold and then filing, as soon as next week even, a request for determination. We do have a new resource area that we're checking out. It's been flagged, it's been located and put on the plans.
Who flagged?
Brian Madden of LEC.
This RDA is solely for the purpose of wetland delineation,
That's correct.
okay?
And what that will allow us to do is then go to the planning board with a locked-in line so that we can redesign things. Because if you can imagine, when we first started this process, we did not imagine that there was over 6 acres of new resource area on the property. So now that we're seeing this, it obviously is going to constitute some redesign. So with a locked-in wetland line, that'll help us redesign the site so that we can move forward with planning. Then we would step into stormwater and come back to this board with the plans that all boards have in front of them, and we can have a fruitful discussion with everybody together. So,
That sounds like a very logical plan.
okay, good, I like that. So I believe Lisa did Brandon reach out to you about scheduling a time where him and Brian are both available sometime next week?
Well, we talked about Wednesday, and I don't know if Brian's available or not, but we'll make sure.
Okay, he said he wasn't, but they're gonna coordinate to look
Okay.
at this resource area.
Yep.
It's a little bit funky because a portion of it is built the way it was supposed to, and a portion of it wasn't, so we're gonna get that squared away. And when we file our request for determination, we would be asking you to make the determination that the resource areas as shown on the plan are accurate, and that any work done in those buffer zones will require notice of intent. So,
Well, we would do that anyway. You know, she would check your flagging to make sure that they're in there. So why would you file an RDA?
Because the reasoning behind this is because his notice of intent included the subdivision and drainage. It included the roadway, drainage, and wetlands. And really, at this point in the game, all he really needs is a wetland determination so he can go back to planning and go to stormwater. And if we can't give him an order for just the wetlands delineation on this notice of intent filing, and I don't want to make him withdraw the whole thing. So what we're gonna do is, he is requesting that we continue this hearing tonight, and then once he submits the RDA, we can table the notice of intent. Or we could table the notice of intent tonight.
I'd prefer to do it once we have the new filing in, just to make sure we're good to go, we didn't miss anything, so.
And then, so he'll still need to notify the abutters through the RDA process, and because he's tabling this, we'll notify the abutters also, or, you know.
No,
right?
that's fine, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. If we table it to a date unspecified, we would re-notify the abutters and re-advertise for when we were coming back. And so that works out perfectly fine. It's similar to the approach that we were thinking in the first place, but I think this is a little bit cleaner and gets us a document that really certifies and locks in that line. And then we're in front of all boards at the same time with all the same plans. like
Because
we were
if we
talking
write him an order for this project that he's before us for, we're writing him an order for the entire project that we don't agree with right now, because he still has to go back to planning and to stormwater. You know what I mean? It's gonna change. It's already gonna change.
Okay,
Very
Okay,
good.
so, right now, you're asking for a continuance.
To the next hearing, yes.
Okay, and, okay, so I'll make a motion that we continue this hearing to our April meeting.
Quick question, Lisa, did we want to talk about the notification for the RDA? How does that occur?
Yeah, so,
Jack, second that?
No.
Did
Jack?
not.
Is there a second?
Oh, I'll second that, yeah.
did you?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion
Okay,
carries.
you're all set.
Okay, thank you, sorry about that.
Okay, so as far as the RDA filing, as you guys know, all of our filings require notification to abutters within 300 feet. And because he's already notified them for this, and he's gonna re-notify them for notice of intent, can we
Notice of
waive,
intent or RDA?
I'm sorry, for the tabling of the notice of intent?
Okay.
So for the RDA is what I really wanna know, can we waive the certified notifications and have it be regular mailing? He could bring the regular mailing to me, this is my idea, and I could physically mail them so I know they actually went out for the RDA, for the delineation part. So he's not spending,
Do it the way we've always done it.
It's okay.
okay,
That's cleaner, that's fine.
right.
You don't need to make things more complicated, so.
Okay, very good.
All right, thank you very much. And I forgot to say Happy St. Patrick's Day, even though I'm not wearing a green shirt, so.
And I'm not Irish, but that's okay, Joe.
We're all Irish, that's
Happy St. Patrick's Day.
Be careful, Jim, I'm Irish.
Another continued variance. Josh?
Joshua Glass?
Forest Hills, yeah, they've requested a continuance.
Okay, I move that we continue the
Anybody-
hearing.
Excuse me, Jim. Was there anyone here that wanted to speak to anything about this man's project,
Long built.
long-built homes? Okay.
Okay, I move that we continue the hearing for the
Comprehensive Conservation Subdivision.
Forest Hills subdivision.
I'll give you guys an update if you'd like an update on the project.
I made a motion, so let's get a second.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, why don't you run that?
Opposed? Motion carries.
The brief summary of this is, Beta, our consultant, wants to do a site visit up at Forest Hills. And, they want things staked out, like the roadway and, possibly drainage areas. But we're gonna at least go with the roadway being staked out, and we're gonna have a site visit before all the leaves start coming out. So I can let you guys know when that's gonna happen if you want.
Good idea.
Okay.
Let us know.
Okay,
Reed Brothers.
they've requested a continuance, they're working with Army Corps and DEP.
I'll make a motion that we continue the hearing on Reed Brothers Farms to our April meeting.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Ross Bozaselli. Another continued hearing, I suppose.
Wait, Lisa, they here?
70 Beach Street.
They're
Wait a minute, wait a
They're
minute.
not done. They're not done, they're trying to meet, Board of Health requirements, so once they're done with that, they're gonna come back.
Okay, I move that we continue the hearing for Ross Boycell on Beach Street till our April meeting.
I'll second that.
All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. Lyman's Construction.
Same thing.
Wait a minute.
Same thing.
Okay, continued. Okay, I'll move that we continue the hearing for Simon Construction to our April meeting.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Request to issue a certificate of compliance for 899 William Street.
Okay, Lisa, you want to tell us about William Street?
Yeah, I'm actually, waiting on an email. Can we just take this out of order? I don't want to, discuss this item for a little while because I'm waiting for an email from, the new owner.
Okay, I'll move that we can,
Motion to
that
take
we,
it out of order, Jim.
I'll make a motion that we take this out of order till, we'll come back to it in the end.
Table it, yeah.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Thank you.
Motion carries. New hearing. Request an amended order of condition. Blue Wave Solar.
Thank you. I'm gonna put these plans in front of you guys, just to confirm the same sheets. Most recent is 12720.
That's the, well, these are the ones here.
What's the date on yours? Oh, you guys submitted these to me.
Yep, that's this one. That's the approved plan.
Okay.
And then there's a second sheet that came with it. That was the request
it
for
must
the
be
amendment.
that.
Yeah.
Thank you. So, the approved is on the front and the request for the amendment is in the back.
Okay.
We're missing
This is the approved plan, see what the difference is.
This was the
Yeah.
approved, we've already approved this project. And then this is the amendment. So you might want the second sheet.
Correct, should be, yes.
Yep.
Okay, let's see what the difference is there.
Are we doing?
Okay, here's the difference here.
Good evening. Rich Riccio from Field Engineering on behalf of Blue Wave Solar and BWC Greenbrook, the applicant. We're here for a request to amend the plan of record associated with the order of conditions for the proposed solar farm at Tremont Street and Middle Street in the town here. We had two minor changes to the site plan that we here before you this evening. The first was, I'll just go back to the approved plan quickly here. We had a cul-de-sac in the middle of the site here on the approved plan, which following iterations of the design of the array, we have requested modification to turn that to a T turnaround, just to allow us to more efficiently place the panels in that area, which is shown on the plan here. It has a T turnaround, well outside the buffer zone, but it is a change to the approved plan. And then the second change, once again, minor in nature, was the removal of about 150 panels in this area here and in this area down here. We were able to more efficiently place the panels on that portion of the array. And this area down on the bottom there, is associated with the agricultural use, be an area that they can load and unload livestock on that property. That portion of the property is proposed to be grazed as part of the dual use. Those are the two changes we're requesting an amended order for. None of the changes are within the 100-foot buffer zone. It's all just outside or well outside the buffer zone, but it is a modification to the approved plan of record. So we would request an amended order of conditions to reflect that change.
Okay, I caught the word livestock, so it's not gonna be butternut.
The bottom half, and I have Chris Knight here from Blue Wave as well. They could, he'd be able to talk to that as well. The portion of the property on Mr. Racine's property is going to be geared more towards potentially livestock and grazing. We are still planting the butternut under this portion on Cabral's property, yes. And other potential crops as well.
Yeah, so my question is, heard a lot of talk about a path
Yeah.
to a stream.
We took, that's off.
Have to what?
A path to a stream.
Oh,
That the current owner wants to construct a path or maintain a path to a stream. And I just wanted to state for the record that any path to any stream requires additional separate filing with the Conservation Commission.
Yeah, that's currently not being, basically pulled that off the table.
in the path, the reason for the path? Are they here?
No.
No, they're not gonna do what he said.
Yeah, it's off the table.
Sounds good.
Okay, we're looking for a motion then. I move that we accept the adjusted plan. Looking for a date on here, dated January 27th, wait a minute.
Last revow, 11/11.
That's not the one.
11/11/2021. It's up at the top. Yep, right there where your right hand is, on the top right corner. We last revised 11/11. Right, that's what, yeah. You can barely, it's right up in this corner up there. Revision
Oh, I
date of
see it,
11/11.
okay, 11/11,
That's the same
okay.
plan approved by the planning board, correct?
Yes, correct.
Okay.
We did not change that.
Okay, I move that we accept the change in the plan to the new plan dated November 11th, 2021.
Do you want to have any public input before you do that?
I can't hear her.
Public input before we make a motion.
Absolutely.
Go ahead.
Is there any public input on this particular project?
I just wanted to see what the change,
Where are you?
I'm sorry, I'm not here.
Behind the desk. There you are.
Yeah, I just wanted to be able to see what those changes were.
Just explain to him the changes you
Yeah,
made. That's all.
So this was the approved plan. What happened was we had this cul-de-sac here that we're eliminating and then putting a turnaround instead. Based on consultation with the fire department, they were sufficiently satisfied with that. And the only other change was we moved these panels here and some panels down here. So we were able to more efficiently place these on this site. And then this is more for the agricultural use down here. Gives them more room for what they're gonna do with the animals if they bring them on there. That's the plan. Okay. Nothing else changed anywhere else. We're still, doing the same screening, everything in the front. It's all exactly the same as was previously approved. Okay. All right.
All right, that's good. Okay, thank you.
Anyone else? No.
Okay, I'll go back to my motion then to accept the revised plan dated November 11, 2021.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you all. Have a good evening.
Thank you. Nice meeting you.
Same to you, thank you.
I'll have those out to you as soon as I can.
Okay, no, yeah, that's fine, that works.
Thank you.
A new hearing. Request for an amended order of condition for 0 Horton Street. much class
I'll
right
read it.
there.
Okay.
Thank you. Say my name when I go up there?
Yeah,
Do I use Horton Street or?
yeah, use Horton Street.
Thank
Thank you.
very much.
Good afternoon, gentlemen. Joseph Baptista, Horton Street, North Dayton. So in response to the DEP site walk, we have had a wetland area on the southern end of the frontage redelineated by Garrett Tunnison and had the resulting flags located by field survey. The resulting wetland line is shown on the attached plan, overlaid on the previous delineation. Also attached are the delineation forms. The amount of upland area has been reduced from what was previously shown. The attached plan shows the redesigned replication area. Replication area number
Right in the
one
front there, front
has been
left-hand side.
redesigned to reflect the new delineation. It approaches closer to the roadway layout and is set back to minimize activity near
See
the
it?
existing frontage. A new replication area number two is proposed to the left of the proposed driveway, as discussed at the DEP site walk.
Charlie, I'm okay, I've been.
Oh, I've been there too, several
This
times.
additional area is needed to meet Army Corps of Engineer requirements. The plant counts and cross-sections on the plan sheets have been revised to reflect the increase of the combined areas, which was a 2-to-1 ratio. These are the only changes to the plan. The proposed wetland crossing and the home development has not changed.
I know. Okay,
So in a sense, the replication area grew from the previous approved plan by the commission to a 2-to-1 ratio that was required by Army Corps, which thereby the plantings as well increased because of the size.
okay.
So you guys know, I went out and did a site visit and I walked the new edge and, I'm pleased with the delineation, so.
Okay, well, you and I have been there many times, viewing that and walking the drive and doing all of that. And, okay, so the replication area is gonna be changed from the rear of the property to this location here.
Makes a lot more sense. It's not,
That, it certainly does.
yeah.
Okay, so, wait a minute.
This will save a lot of old oak trees and stone walls.
Okay,
stone walls.
do you have a written segment on the change and the, I know that you
I got-
altered the area of replication from the rear to the forward section of the property. And you have that in the dialogue on that?
Yeah, so,
Okay.
I actually have orders of conditions here, amended orders for him.
Okay.
Hopefully this is the last time we have to do this. And I have 2 copies, 1 copy's for our records and 1 copy's to give him tonight.
Okay, all right,
If you could, when you get ready.
okay. See if there's any input. Not yet, don't sign it yet.
Anyone here
Gonna get prepared.
would like any information or input on this particular project? Hearing none, we'll just continue, Jim.
Okay, I make a motion to accept the changes in the delineation and the proposed replication area for the site on Lot 22 DEP file number SE 17-0433.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you,
Okay,
John.
hold
Thank
up
you,
for a
Josh.
minute.
Thank you.
Joanne Racine.
No, let's hold up for a minute, we're gonna sign this, and so they can get a copy, I think.
No, they're not here, however, they're looking to pull their land out of chapter. I had to find the paperwork.
Yeah.
So, as did the other boards in town, that Joanne Racine, trustee of the Joanne Racine Living Trust, wants to pull a portion of the land located at 624 Middle Street, Assessors Map 8, Lot 31, out of a notice of intent to convert to other use from Chapter 61A. So the question is, do we want to
I'd like to see a map of
do we
where-
want to accept our right of first refusal on it? And I believe that is the same as your solar project. The same as the solar project that we just saw. Corner of Middle and Tremont.
Yeah, I know where the solar project is, but I don't know where Joanne Racine's property.
That's the same property.
No, Joanne Racine owns all the property where the solar panel system is going.
No, just, no.
Well, I'd like to see a,
Okay, hold on,
Right here, one right here, Bill,
right here.
right here. Joanne Machine, right here.
No, that's the other one.
oh, okay.
It's not, I don't have, no, we don't have it here. At least,
Bottom.
Right here.
wait a minute,
Thank you,
so,
Jack.
No, it's, I saw it on the thing.
That's the second part of this.
I saw it on the thing here
The
when,
next properties,
Now I know where it is.
yeah.
solar panels are in the back.
so where is the land that's being discharged?
It's on Middle Street.
Here, this one right here.
We don't have to make, we don't have to make a motion on it tonight. We can just discuss it and then we can get some more information and it's not like, we have another, I think this town has what, 90 days to determine, Nancy, on a 61A conversion?
Oh, Nancy.
I think once the Board of Selectmen gets information from your commission and from the Board of Assessors, I believe that's the timeline. The question I have is, if it's not the entire piece of property that's identified by that lot and map, how is it gonna be subdivided so part of it comes out? I think there's more steps that have to be looked at before you actually act on it. Because I'm gonna send a note to the full-time assessor and ask her, what's the acreage involved? Because if it's not the entire parcel, we need to know how many acres are coming out of 61A for tax purposes.
Right.
So I think it's been twisted over.
I believe there is a map as part of the notice.
Was it, yeah, you can speak, I mean, we just want to know, has it already been subdivided?
Please,
Yeah, my name is Chris Knight with Blue Wave Solar. Thank
your name is,
Chris Knight with Blue
Knight.
Wave Solar.
okay,
So Mr. Jim Cabral owns the northern parcel.
yes.
His property has already gone through the process and the Board of Selectmen waived their right of first refusal. Ms. Racine owns the southern part of the array. There are 2 parcels that she owns that are part of the array. One parcel is not currently held in Chapter 61. One parcel is currently held in Chapter 1.
Yeah, well, we'll need some maps and we
Well,
need
here's
some.
something,
It was part of the notice that was submitted, I believe it was Delaney and Muncy, Ms. Racine's attorneys. And part of the notice that was submitted was a map that included, I believe it's about 5.7 acres.
Yeah, we were just looking at that, but it's not clear on the map.
Okay.
So the front of the property is not 61A, the back of the property is?
Sorry, I don't,
Do you want to look at it?
yeah, like,
So this is Tremont Street.
Yes.
Middle Street,
Yeah.
Mr. Cabral's parcel, and there's a rock wall that separates the 2 parcels. These are both parcels owned by Ms. Racine. This one is held in 61A, this one is not. So there's, even though part of the parcel is part of the project, there would be no removal here.
But this one won't be part of it.
That is part of
well, this is the parcel.
Okay.
Yep. And so a portion
you know, here on either side will remain in 61A. And then this portion identified here, 5.5 acres, this dash portion is what would be removed.
So what they're doing is offering this section here?
The 5 acres that's in 61A.
Right,
Well,
so
I'm
they have- They're
confused.
not offering, well, they have to offer it legally. That's
Right.
what they have to do. But really what they're trying to do is convert it to solar and hope that we don't, you know, choose that option. Yeah,
So it's the 5.5 acres that's identified with that dash section, that would be converted to commercial use. And the town has the right of first refusal to purchase that area.
And the town wants to know if we're interested in buying it.
Yeah, okay, I'm, so this is something that we should wait till next month or act on upon it now?
it's up to you.
Mr. Chairman, if I may,
Well, please do.
is that 5-point-something acres that they want to convert, take out of 61A, is there a remaining part of that that is going to stay in 61A? In other words, if it's a 10-acre lot, are they taking roughly 5 acres, taking it out of 61A, and the rest of it's going to stay in 61A?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. If it's all one lot, how can the town buy it? Don't you have to divide it up? This is similar to the situation we had up off of Williams. I think the lot, don't you have to, didn't they go to planning or somebody? I mean, we can't buy half. If the town wanted to buy the 5 acres, but it's part of a 10-acre lot, and the whole lot is 10 acres, you have to carve that piece out. You can't just buy it.
They could give it to conservation.
Well, after they put all this
They
time.
can't give it to you because it's part of the whole.
Same as
I'm
buying it,
just-
they
I'm
can't
just,
give it to
What
us.
first before the solar?
But are you suggesting that in any scenario, an entire lot would have to be conveyed to the town? There's no situation?
No. We recently had a case, Audrey Lane, where somebody wanted to buy a couple of acres of a piece of land. So the landowner, I believe, divided up the property so that person could buy those couple of acres. This land hasn't been so divided up. So how can you take a portion of a 61A whole lot? I'm an assessor, how would we possibly tax it? It's not defined. So I think what you have to do, I would get in touch with Mrs. Easterday at the planning board
Yeah.
and tell her what you want to do. You've got a whole lot, but you only want to take 5 acres of that lot out of 61A so that it can become commercial for the solar farm. Ask her how it's done, all right? The other thing you need to do is, when you get that straightened out, come back to Concom, but you've also got to come to the Board of Assessors, because we've also got to issue an opinion on whether or not the town should buy it, okay?
How would you create a lot without any frontage?
Well, that's what happened on this other lot that we were talking about. That's why you talked to the planning board.
Okay, understood. Thank you very much for
Okay.
the
And I
feedback.
know as of 2 days ago, she hadn't had a chance to even look at this one yet. She just got back. Her mother passed and she buried her mother, so gotta give Carrie a few days to be back.
Well, we got a month now for our next meeting, so you got time.
Wow.
Okay, we'll follow up with these.
Okay.
Today, maybe,
Yeah.
And once you get that straightened out and you find out how it's done, and then it happens, then you let them know. But get in touch with Stephanie in the assessor's office, because we're gonna need a map, and we're gonna have to know what you tell them, so we can act on it, and we're all on the same piece of land, okay?
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Continue this?
No, just, I don't think we have to do anything to this, just go on. He's just gonna have to submit it when time comes.
Well, no, it's already submitted to us, and the Board of Selectmen's waiting for us to make us all to make a decision. However, they haven't even really had a chance to look at
Well,
this.
let's continue our decision, or put off our decision to a future time,
You just continue it to next meeting, Jim.
Yeah.
okay?
Yeah,
Second?
I'll second it and continue it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Update on the town, annual town report. Don't you, Lisa?
Charlie?
Tell Charlie, will you, where we are?
We're on here, he wants to, I know Charlie gave us all a paper on that, what's gonna go into the book.
Yep.
So, I guess that's our update,
It's due April 1st.
okay.
Thank
I'm
you,
very
Charlie,
sa-
for
I'm
doing
satis- I'm very satisfied with what,
I don't know what it says, but thank you.
okay.
Should we go back to 899 Williams?
Okay,
We're gonna go back to 899 Williams?
the one we,
Or can we wait till the end of the meeting to go over that one? Because I haven't received the email from the owners yet.
Well, you just have to wait then.
Okay.
okay.
Let's continue on. Main Street, reconstruction, water main upgrade. Sure, we got a bunch of people here about that.
So this is not a hearing, this is just an informational session. Thank you.
So we are, I'm here with Jeff for
You
Dayton
are?
Water District. Renee Lanza with Woodard and Curran. Renee Lanza with Woodard and Curran.
Renee,
We're the design consultant for Dayton Water District for this job.
Okay?
So we are in the end of design for the Main Street water main replacement job. So I just passed out some of these things. This is just an overview. We are going to be coming to the next meeting with a notice of intent. So this is just to provide an overview, get any questions, so we can address any of that in our formal submission in our formal meeting. So this is the replacement of about 12,000 linear feet of 8-inch cast iron water main with a new 12-inch ductile iron water main within the existing roadway. So it's replacing the existing water main that is already there. Associated with that will also be new hydrants, new water services. A couple notes in there is that we have 2 culverts that we will be going under using trenchless technologies to have minimal impact and stay within the roadway. And then there is also the Mass DOT intersection right here at 138. So this project is being funded by the Massachusetts Drinking Water State Revolving Fund. So as such, we do have a bunch of requirements on the state revolving fund process, so we're getting towards the end of that. So just a heads up for you guys, as part of the process for all state revolving fund funded projects, we had to submit a project notification form to Mass Historic Commission. So we have already gotten back on that there's no concerns. We had to do a review of MEPA applicability to confirm that it does not trigger any ENF or EIR requirements. So we do know that. And it had to go to Mass DEP for technical review as part of the SRF process. So the following items are still in progress. We have done initial permits and worked with Mass DOT on all of their requirements for the intersection at 138. We are hoping to get our final permit approval soon. We have addressed all their comments and coordinated with them. We do plan to submit a stormwater permit application to the Stormwater Committee. We have all of that. I know Jeff went to the meeting on Wednesday, and we will be submitting that. And we will be submitting a notice of intent by the April 7th deadline to be on the notice hearing. So the limits of work here are between Williams Street down to Somerset Ave. I included a kind of map that kind of looks at the overview of the project.
Or is it Pleasant Street?
So right now we are going down to, yes, Pleasant Street, thank you. we're on Somerset. And so that image on that last page just shows a big overview of it. Any questions?
Very helpful.
I have a question. Now, you will do complete road paving after this?
So the town is going to be following us with road paving the following year. So this is going to be happening this year. So the water main, one of the things with our funding is we do have to be under contract with our contractor by June 30th to maintain our funding. This work will begin shortly after that in July. The water main work will go through the end of this year, and then to allow for proper settling before they do the full width paving, the town is going to be doing that full width paving next year in 2023.
Tom, I have a question for you. Maybe wetland related, maybe not. When repaving is done and the road is resurfaced, do you grind it down and keep it at the same level, or is it going to be higher and all the water is going to be dumped off onto private property?
At this time, there's gonna be milling and repaving. There'll also be an addition of a sidewalk on the north side from Elm Street to William Street, which would eliminate most of the country drainage you just alluded to.
Okay, no, and I'm just looking at my property, and what could be someone else's property on Main Street. You know, the street gets higher and all of a sudden, all the water drains on to personal property, and, want to keep that from happening.
Correct.
Thank you.
Any further questions?
I'm sure there'll be more when you file the, notice of intent.
Tom, did you want to give us a little summary of,
She has a spotlight right now.
did you have plans for that?
Did they come? They were overnighted.
Oh, is that what was on my desk? Okay.
Okay.
Thank
But I
you.
do have another copy if you want another copy
No.
in case. Okay.
Not particularly, thank you.
Thanks for doing all this dirty work.
Anytime.
Yeah.
Any other questions? You guys good? Awesome.
Any questions? Anybody with any input on this project?
Tom?
Mr. Ferry?
You'll get better water pressure.
Yes, originally we were hoping that the town of Dayton and the Dayton Water District could work together on a lot of this permitting stuff and the project itself. But the water district needs to move at their own speed, so there'll be a separate filing for my initial work. Limit of work will be similar, but mainly because of the funding that they're using, they have some timelines they need to address, so I don't want to slow them down. The types of crossings that are interested with this board, the 4 crossings, I'll have the same crossing problems also, and we'll address them accordingly. So I'll probably be back here later this year, if not early or over the winter, this coming winter.
Did, you're talking about crossings, did you say some of it was gonna be bored?
Yeah, so we have 2 culverts that they're going to be pipe jacked, which is similar to,
Yeah,
yep.
it's the same difference.
Yep, same difference, more or less, just because of we did some geotechnical investigation and pipe jacking was better. And then the one at kind of the large bridge over the Muddy Brook, kind of closer, that we are just gonna connect on either side, since that water main was replaced relatively recently when they did that bridge in about like 2008. So we'll not be going under that,
I
we'll
mean,
be,
if it's jacked or bored, there's a lot less disturbance
Yeah.
in the wetland, so.
yep, and that was our intention there.
It's the same as like a bullet, if you've ever seen that.
This right here, John Henry, they're boring machines. Used to work natural gas pipelines.
You know it.
Yep.
Yeah,
Wow.
no, it's just curiosity, it's,
Yep, so we're intending to do that to minimize any impacts to those culverts.
yeah. No, I'm all set with it, so.
Tom, you all set?
Unless there's any questions, I'm all set this time.
No, we're good. motion?
No, that's just information. There's nothing really before us.
Good guy.
2732 Park Street.
Okay, I do have an update from Brandon. He couldn't attend. He hasn't had time to revise the restoration plan per our last meeting, but he will do that. Once that's done, Mr. Franco's gonna be looking for something in writing, lifting the enforcement order. Brandon is filing the notice of intent concurrently with the restoration plan. And that's about it. That's good enough for me.
Well, that was what we had asked him at the last meeting. Okay.
Thank you, Lisa.
Sure.
2050 Horton Street.
Okay. So I wanna just talk briefly about this. The owner isn't here, however, we've had discussions, based on the complaint to the EPA. The EPA has reached out to Army Corps. They're looking to see what we have decided. And as you remember, per our meeting last month, Jim and I did a site visit, and we realized that that work was 14 years ago.
14 years.
So the owner has discussed restoration with us, and he's open to doing whatever we require. What I had recommended was that we require the bank to reestablish vegetation, and part of the
Where are we talking about? Do we have a
2050 Horton.
Well, that's good. Do we have a map or anything?
I can show you on this if you wanna.
I'd
No,
like to know where it is.
okay.
I'd like to see a map to show me where it is.
I got a file this thick if you wanna see it, but,
It's
hang
just
on a
east-
second.
It's just east of the other enforcement order that we issued, where they were cutting trees in the front of Horton Street. It's the
Here, let
house
me just
sort
pull it up on here, it's easier.
Just show me where it is, Lisa, that's all.
I know. I will. So this is
That's me.
Smith, Fort. Right here.
I didn't touch it, you did.
This lot. Okay, as you can see,
Did you see where we were, Jack?
Yeah.
he put the crossing to get to the other side.
Okay.
Well, that
All right.
crossing has to go too.
Well,
I know where you are now.
that's the discussion. I mean, if you wanna, that wasn't what I discussed with him, but if you wanna have him come back to the next meeting, we can talk about it.
Okay.
So, you know, as stated, the pond itself was created 14 years ago. If I feel, in looking at it, requiring the pond to be filled in would cause more damage to that BBW. He is willing to allow this bank to reestablish here and a portion of this field.
What is, that pond is what, about 500 square feet? It's not very big.
Yeah, no, it's not very big at all, and I could measure it.
No, that's okay.
48 by
48 feet?
48 by maybe
Feet?
15 50 by 50.
It doesn't impede the flow of the stream.
No, it does not impede the flow. Does not impede the flow of the stream, or it's,
So, you know, I think this can all be done through an enforcement order, in conjunction with him being very cooperative. I think that will work out fine.
Good.
okay, so, the enforcement order was already issued.
No, there was just a letter issued, there was never.
Okay, all right.
Yeah,
Then,
on this.
okay, then,
The enforcement order can have a timeline, so I think you could just require 2 growing seasons of observations to be sure that that is.
It's already had 14 years.
Not the bank, the bank's been,
he's been planting stuff in
no,
there.
he's been cutting down to the.
Oh, the planting, okay.
That's why it's bare as such.
But I think it will reestablish itself.
Oh, in no time.
So this is the area in question.
That's right here.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
can draft that and then get it around to everybody.
Okay, all right, and so we'll issue an enforcement order, and with requirements to rehab the property. You will, be in touch with what, DEP and,
EPA.
It's EPA.
EPA. And if they have any, right now, DEP doesn't have any instructions for us, correct? Except what Charlie has found on the internet.
Right, it's EPA, and it's EPA contacting the Army Corps. So
Okay.
EPA is waiting for us to make a decision on something, and they want to know what, you know, what we're gonna decide, of course. And Army Corps, of course, could take months, if not years, so what EPA recommended was that he still file with the Army Corps for a permit for this. And that is in his court.
Okay, so we need a motion then for issuing an enforcement order and rehab of the surrounding, revegetation of the surrounding area.
Right, reestablishment,
Well, that's what we'll do with the enforcement order.
yeah,
That'll be
I'll
part
write
of
it
the
up.
enforcement order.
all right.
Let's see if there's other people out there that has comments or questions.
Anybody want to speak about this project at all?
Yeah, Joe Daigle, I'm attorney, I represent Riviero, the abutting property. Just wondering, how was the determination made that it was 14 years?
We're having trouble hearing you, Joe. And it's
Aerial
not your fault.
aerial
it's mine.
photography,
Aerial photography?
historical aerial photography,
The
yes.
way it was said, it sounded like you made the determination on the site. Okay. Thank you.
I missed that whole thing.
He said, how did we know it was 14 years
Oh.
that it was done? And, I am accurate on that, right, Lisa, aerial photography?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and the EPA provided us with some, yeah. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, then I'll make a motion, if there's no one else to speak, that we issue an enforcement order to the property owner and require rehabilitation of the vegetation in the surrounding area. And Lisa, you will determine how much of that square footage, and
I'll
any
do
special kind-
monitoring, I'll monitor it.
Okay, and at least 2 years of monitoring.
2 growing seasons, I think, is enough, a year.
Okay,
That's my opinion,
okay, well, if it's not growing, we just extend it.
yeah. And you're correct, there's no impediment of any flow. That is flowing as it always had. The stone wall that is there was built, and it was part of the original notice of intent filing. So that was not an impoundment. The only impoundment there is the, what would you call that? The crossing,
Yeah.
which is pretty much rotted, and anything could make its way
Well,
through it anyway.
Yeah, I'm not fond of that, that's gonna
Yeah.
go. That's gonna go,
All
we
right,
can't
we
go to
can-
the other
we can-
side, too bad.
We can discuss that when we fill out the order of.
Okay, is there a second?
Yeah, I'll second your motion, Jim.
Aye.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. It's okay. Jim, you have to take the next one. I have to excuse myself.
Well, yeah, Are you gonna leave and not discuss your enforcement order?
Why, he's not on your list? We can discuss if you want.
I would love an update.
That's so good.
We'll put you on, you wanna do this next?
Well, let's do, Bill just left, let's do Hart Street, and then we can, do that next.
Okay. Or
Okay.
we could do it under public input, under other business.
Okay.
Okay. So, where Hart Street is at right now is they have given us an as-built, and they have not, filed for a certificate of compliance. However, Mr. Barabee is working on that.
I wish somebody would explain to me about the RDA.
The so, because it's dragged on this long, I don't think we need an RDA at this point. Do you guys think an RDA is still necessary? The site is almost all established. So what is he filing an RDA for? The septic system is almost, is done.
Did Proline ever get back to you with whatever you asked for? A narrative about what is or is not done?
No, but he's slow.
So you're just waiting for what from him?
I'm waiting for the actual application form for the certificate of compliance.
Okay.
With the summary of any deviations from the original plan.
Okay,
So along with the as-built, you have to get that from the engineer.
okay, so this is actually, as far as we're concerned, it's just a delay, maybe until the growing season starts, I don't know.
Right, well, what we can do is we can actually, I think what would help push it along is if we require it be submitted by a certain point in time.
Do you want to throw out a date then and just send them a letter?
Yeah,
Because
our
you'll be-
June
I don't know
meeting.
if that requires a specific vote or anything, but you could carry it on to, because you have been in constant contact with him
Well,
and
I
get
have-
it done.
I haven't in a while, but, say we'd like to have it in the next 60 days, or is that reasonable, or is that?
Oh, I think it certainly is. Maybe 30 days. So we'd have it for our next meeting.
30 days, okay.
That would be April, I don't know the date, but
April 21st.
On the first page.
21st, you said?
21st is our next meeting, but to get it on the agenda, I mean, we need it by like the 7th, because I can't get things the week of the meeting and put them on the agenda.
Okay,
421.
okay.
It's 4/7/7 for 4/21 meeting. Does that work? That's 3 weeks.
That should be, I think, sufficient time, 3 weeks, for him to get it to us.
I would think so.
You know, let's do that, and then we'll,
Okay,
have him here for the, 21st meeting, the 21st of April.
okay.
Bill?
Yeah?
You want to address us? No. Okay. We're gonna go out of order then, to,
Well, no, because I think that should be under public input.
okay, public input, okay.
We do have someone here for 1566, and actually the next few items are gonna go really quickly, so.
Okay,
Hi.
1566 Cedar Street,
I got it, Jim.
okay.
That's you.
Maybe, it is.
Okay, continue, please.
He doesn't want to.
even John D'Souza from North County Group. I was retain my client to help bring his mitigation and restoration plan into the Conservation Commission and heal the instances that have happened out there over the past
Mr. D'Souza?
course of time. Yes.
With an S or a Z?
S. We're from the islands. So we are working on the mitigation and the restoration plan that's going to come before the commission. It's going to take us about 3, maybe 4 weeks to complete the plan and to get it here in front of you. One thing that I do request is if we could get any reports or submittals that were made by the botanist, Mr. Shamil.
I sent it to you.
Okay, all I have is that 3-page form. I didn't get
Report?
I didn't get a wetland report or anything.
Yeah, it was a report.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I got from him.
That's the only thing you got from him?
Plus the plan you showed me.
That was it? Wow, that's not good. So, all right, so I'll see what information I can get from him. But we're working on to mitigate this and to get it back on a track, so that way everybody is happier than what's there now.
Very good, Mr.
If you
Souza. Thank
remember, his client was here at the last meeting telling us how he was
Right.
firing his wetland consultant. Right.
Right,
So,
that's,
do you think you can have something into us by the 7th of April?
It's probably gonna be just a little bit after that, because I know that in April I have to go out to Illinois and Indiana for the military.
Okay.
Because we do work for the military as well. So
Okay.
it's kind of,
well, that's,
So for
okay.
our May meeting,
When you'll get, I'm sure you'll be expedient on this as much as you can, so.
Yeah.
So whether we see you next month or in May.
for,
it'll
yeah.
probably end up being May.
right.
It'll be, it'll safe.
Our May meeting is May 19th, and the submittal is May 5th. Cinco de Mayo, you can remember that.
Maybe.
Well, it's another holiday, like today, I guess.
It is, and I'm wearing green. All right, so I just want to let the commission know that my client's not waiting on the wings or anything. He's
Well, it's good to know that you're alive, you exist, and you're working on
I
it.
am.
Thanks
I'm
for
here.
coming in.
All right, thank you.
All right. All right, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Souza.
Have a safe trip. Okay.
2371 County Street.
Hang on a second. Got it. All right. So, I got some correspondence from the attorney. We saw the attorney and the owner at the stormwater meeting yesterday. And just so you know, the stormwater committee has drafted letters to the other violators along the railroad right-of-way as well. So the attorney was in, and I sent the attorney an email after that meeting reminding him, let's see. Reminding him that the commission has a meeting tonight and we would like an update on where things are at. So let me just tell you what I emailed him and how he responded. And then how I responded to that. 1 second. A lot of emails here. Okay. Please provide me with a written update prior to the Conservation Commission meeting tomorrow, Thursday night at 7 p.m. Please remind your client the enforcement order is not open-ended. We expect compliance and the commission reserves the right to impose fines. And so he responded and he said, I cannot make the meeting tonight as I'm not sure we had to report in person. My client is not able to attend either. Oh wait, this is an old email. Hold on. So many emails here. It was good to see you, and I appreciate the assistance with the Stormwater Committee. Obviously, Mr. Enos is pleased that the other neighbors are being brought in, not with any retributive sentiment, but because he believes it is a broader problem than just his property. To date, he has not filled anything further, nor allowed anyone else to fill, nor has removed any fill, and won't without the commission's okay. However, as you know, he has been in touch with the Department of Transportation in an effort to alleviate the runoff from 138, not only through his property, but through the other abutting properties, and DOT has indicated that there are grading and other issues that they can do that will help with that. I believe at yesterday's meeting, he had indicated that they were coming by in the next few months to meet with him. Again, I have not been involved with those negotiations. Mr. Enos has been handling them directly. If you need anything further, please contact me. My understanding is that the Stormwater Committee will be contacting us as well as the other notified abutters directly to work with each individual landowner. And my response was, Mr. Mitchell, the fact of the matter is that there are wetlands that have been altered. I believe there are greater than 5,000 square feet of wetlands that have been altered. Therefore, this is not only a local and state wetlands violation, but also a federal violation. The Conservation Commission will discuss enforcement tonight and other efforts to seek compliance. Thanks, Lisa. So, we issued this enforcement order in April of 2021. We are now almost in, yeah. So we requested a plan, and he had said he had someone that was going to be putting together a proposal to remove some of that. That never happened. We extended it to November. That never happened. Now we're almost at our year deadline, and he still seems like he's trying to put the responsibility on DOT. The fact of the matter is there's solid waste in that BVW. That BVW is connected to the Taunton River, and here we are. I think that I should notify DEP that there's a solid waste issue and there's a greater enforcement issue that we're not getting compliance with.
But I don't. So be it.
I think that's the only way to go.
Yes.
We've waited long enough trying to work with people, but.
1 year of delay and delay tactics of all kinds and no action. Okay, Lisa, I would like to see you notify DEP, Army Corps of Engineers.
So let's let the commission do that.
Well, I just said I would like, I didn't make a motion, I just said I would like to see her do that. But yes.
Maybe let us.
Yeah, that's fine.
Good.
I can speak.
Make it into a motion, so we can vote on it.
Well, I don't know if Jack has something else to say, how he feels about it.
No, I mean, years long enough, follow up on it.
Okay, Charlie? I make a motion that Lisa contact DEP, Army Corps of Engineers. Was there someone else? Of the violation.
That's all we got.
At this site.
Yeah, I'll CC the Board of Selectmen.
And the 1 year delay by the homeowner.
Yeah, I mean, you know, if we had seen any progress, a surveyor, you know,
No
a
progress
plan.
whatsoever. And I think the lawyer is as much a delay as the homeowner. because when he came before us, he just gave us a runaround too.
All right, Jim.
Okay.
You need a second for that?
Yeah, I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Is there anyone in here? Well, it's too late now. 1035 William Street.
Okay, so this is another one we don't have any progress with.
Lisa?
Well, this is another one we don't have any progress with, but, according to Outback, that he was hiring them.
What?
According to Outback, he was hiring them. This is for the new garage and the, area in the back of his house that he started cutting, that now he's left alone. But the garage requires a permit. He has an old order for his house that already was closed up, and this is the garage. I did not issue an enforcement order to him. I've just been verbally, and I've written him a letter, but I haven't issued an enforcement order.
Could you see if the botanist, you said, who was it?
Outback.
Outback, if they're still involved in this project, or maybe that was one of these deals, and then we can take action. If they're not working on it, or if they've been released from duty, we can put some teeth into it.
Okay. Yep. Go ahead.
1035 William?
That was.
That was it.
2040 County. So this.
2040 County Street.
Yeah, this is a new one. I got notified by the highway superintendent, and I went out and checked this out. They were definitely storing new equipment, new trucks in the BVW, if not, definitely in the buffer zone, if not in the wetland itself. So, of course, this is a lot where we've already had a violation on in the past,
Where is 2040 County Street?
north of the market, corner of Main.
Okay.
Corner of Main and...
You know where our,
Near DeRosa.
the backhoe is in the wetland
Is
there?
is that DeRosa or is that Rodriguez?
No, it's Rodriguez.
Yeah, but he hasn't been involved in this. Yeah, most of our problems have been with.
This is
DeRosa.
Rodriguez, cause he met Jim Aguirre and I out there. And
Yeah, but
talked
what
about-
I'm saying, most of the problems have been with DeRosa,
Right, but in
not
this,
with Rodriguez.
in this case, this is Rodriguez
Well, yeah,
And is he north or south of,
South.
he's south of DeRosa?
And they have their own issues with the property line, and now this new guy pushed some dirt over to DeRosa's. However, the new tenant, you know, wants to be able to do certain things with that property, so, I appreciate right away, the owner went out and hired, Mark Rodriguez. You know him? He did the plan originally for this. Mark Rodriguez.
Rodriguez?
Is it Rodriguez? Let me look. I thought it was Rodriguez. They started flagging it. Yeah, Rodriguez. Rodriguez. Rodriguez.
Rodriguez.
We issued an order of conditions on that property a long time ago.
Yeah, this is analysis and design engineering. This guy's been around on this project for a long time. In any case, he said it was a very difficult site to delineate, so he had someone else come out. And they sent me over the delineation today, and I said, no, we're not even in the growing season yet. This is all herbaceous vegetation where this is, you know, difficult to analyze soils. Let's hold off and look at this delineation in a few weeks. I want it staked because there's a lot of activity out there now. And I
What
want
kind of activity? You said a lot of activity out there?
yeah, on the lot itself, because the new tenant owns a trucking company, So they want to be able to use the upland portion. So I think we need, you know, in any case, the building inspector and I and Todd Pilling were all on this together, so,
So if they are doing the wetland delineation, that'll come back to us for next meeting?
right, and now the new tenant's already asking to resurface, and I said, look, without a delineation and a filing, I can't authorize you to do anything out there. So they're holding off, and they're gonna stay far enough away from the staked area at this point.
Okay.
I just wanted to give you an idea of what was going on out there.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Is there anyone here that wants to speak about this particular project? Okay, you want to continue this, Jim?
We got Wellington Street.
Okay, I received a verbal complaint that there was Wellington Street, there was a new violation.
Can't hear you, Lisa, I'm sorry.
I received a verbal complaint that at 1763 Wellington, there was a new violation. And I took a ride by, and they're definitely cutting close to the wetland, if not in the wetlands. So I sent out a letter requesting that I be able to walk on the site. The lady got back to me today. They're leaving for a trip Saturday when they return, so we scheduled a site visit for Tuesday, the 29th.
Okay.
All right.
Everybody wants to clean their property up and improve things in the spring, so it's gonna start getting really busy.
Okay.
Yeah,
Public input?
public input. Are you here for something?
Correspondence?
No, I think,
Yeah, what?
okay.
Zero Horton? Hi. Great.
I'm sorry?
Chris Santosuoso, Sites and Structures Group. We're the consultant working on the Horton Street lot next door to 2050 North.
Working on what?
The,
Slow down.
I'm sorry. We are the consultants working on Horton Street for Mr. Ribeiro, the lot that abuts 2050.
Okay.
As far as an update, we are in the process of working on a restorative plan with Goddard Consulting. We will have that plan done and submitted for April 7th. That way it can be presented at the next meeting.
Thank you. Great.
Good, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
You too.
What's his last name? Chris somebody.
Chris, just,
My years weren't that fast.
hopefully he signed in.
Anything for, $8.99,
I think it was De Silva too, yeah. She said De Silva. I do have
Yeah,
his,
the member of the audience is trying to get your attention.
May I just speak in the public input?
Of course.
Sure, we've been
So
notifying you for the
were
last 5
napping
minutes.
when Bill called.
I went to the planning board hearing last night on Forest Hills. There were hardly any people there. I thought the school would be packed. It wasn't. There were a few people who spoke in opposition, but the planning board has continued it until May. The Taunton Conservation Commission meeting that Mr. Pilling and I went to this month, I think it was the second, relative to Dora Estates.
we think that's finally resolved, the plans we saw are okay, but they continued Forest Hills. So we told them we will be back representing Dayton when they talk about Forest Hills. So I let the planning board and their attorney know about the continuation in Taunton, and that we will go there to hear the discussion on that basin. I told the Taunton Concom that we had not seen the plans. We don't even know if that basin's going to end up in Taunton. So the planning board asked that a site visit be made to Forest Hills. So what we're trying to do is get one site visit so that any available people from Concom, Stormwater, and Planning Board can all go at the same time, so we don't all have to make separate visits and all that other stuff. So Lisa and Mrs. Grassi are working on trying to come up with a date so that we can meet and go through the site. It's not a path that's cut through, but we will be able to walk in the disturbed area, the disturbed area that the heavy equipment made when it went in to do test holes. So we'll just let you know, we would like to go there before the leaves come out and the mosquitoes and the ticks and everybody says they're already here. But anyhow, I just wanted to make you aware that we're trying to get that set up. Similar to what we've done at some of our solar farms where everyone goes out and asks a lot of questions and, you know, we get a lot of information all at the same time, okay? Yes?
You know, part of their project at the end of the line, it goes into Taunton from a Dayton Road. You know where I'm talking about? Of course, the Taunton-Dayton line, and then that road kind of sneaks around into Taunton.
Oh, on the plan, you mean?
On their plan, yes. So what I'm looking at is we don't have water now that we have bans on every summer, and I mean, and we're going to supply water to Taunton houses. We can't supply. We don't have water for them.
That's altogether different.
It's North Dayton Water District.
That's not Dayton Water
That's
District.
North Dayton water, that's all Taunton's water.
But that was part of the discussion last night, whether or not the lines will have the capacity to service. In other words, if the water lines are off of existing water lines in Dayton, there's concern about whether or not the lines will have the capacity for that much water. Another concern was the capacity of the public sewer system, which is in Dayton, which also ends up, obviously, goes to Taunton, but they did say they're looking into that to determine whether or not the existing sewer lines can handle additional sewage.
Now, the sewer line, it would have to come in from South Walker because it doesn't come in on the,
Right there on Forest Street, Jim.
Is it on Forest Street?
Yeah, all of Forest Street, from the
Okay.
top of the hill, back, all the way down through the village.
Okay.
And we're taking it on the chin because all of Nichols Mills, that whole area goes through Dayton. So what that does with Dayton's capacity, it cuts it down to nothing because it's all coming through Taunton.
That might be a good thing.
Well, not necessarily, because, you know.
Our water on our street, this comes
Dayton
from,
Water District.
wait a minute, this comes from down Tremont from Williams, correct? So our water comes from Williams Street
Yours
to,
comes
The Walker-
up,
the
yours
Walker
comes up from
Wells.
Somerset Avenue.
A lot of the water, 45% of the drinking water, my understanding is, in Dayton comes from the wells that are on Walker Street.
Right, but the water
Okay.
over at your houses comes up
so
from 138.
our water supply where we are wouldn't be affected by Forest Street.
No, because they're two separate water districts.
Districts, okay.
All right, so that's the North Dayton Fire District.
Okay, North Dayton Fire and Dayton Water, okay.
The sewer situation is the town of Dayton, because it's not a district, it's the town.
Yeah.
So if sewage, public sewage lines go into that, if it has the capacity, that's part of the town of Dayton sewer system, or septic sewer system, whatever you call it.
Yeah, okay.
So those were brought up last night. The two attorneys, the town attorney, a planning board attorney, and the attorney for the project could not agree on some of the background information that happened way back when this ended up in court, and no one can find the records. And all they know is that the decision, the judgment came down that the project, the homes can be built, but the attorney for the planning board said that it doesn't say that 135 homes will be built, but I'm not sure that the other attorney agreed with that. One gentleman who resides on Forest Street got up and said, why don't we just work together on this, which means reduce the number of homes, something reasonable, so that our schools are not overwhelmed, that the services of the town are not overwhelmed, so that we will not have a lot more traffic on Forest Street.
Oh, that would be terrible.
So, and he turned to them and said, are you willing to work with us? And there was no response at all. So that's not a surprise. But,
That means no.
so anyhow, we'll let you know for sure when we get that site visit worked out. The only thing I will say is, when you voted on the County Street issue, and you voted to have Mrs. Caldonia contact the various agencies, whatever you do is separate and distinct from the Stormwater Committee, because I believe the property owner, the first one we met with, is hoping to play one against the other. So you have already issued a document that's almost a year old, and I certainly support you following up on that. We are going to meet with 3 other property owners, 3 or 4, whatever the letters were I sent out. And we are going to move ahead. We are going to deal with each one of them individually. And Mrs. Caldonia will be involved, and we'll certainly keep you in the loop, because Mr. Frenette's on our committee anyhow. But I won't be surprised if there'll be an attempt to stall what you want to do, saying they're waiting for stormwater. No, don't let that happen. Stormwater will pursue its issues, and you should pursue yours. So I just want that understood, okay? Thank you.
Thank you, Nancy.
Yep.
Okay, I'll make a motion to adjourn.
What about 899 William Street?
Right.
We went by it.
Yeah, so, I had received a request from the current, or the previous owner now, to
Oh, yeah, we,
Yeah.
to issue a certificate of compliance.
did you hear from them at all?
No, but she asked me before we hung up if she couldn't email me, if I could reiterate to you. So, but here's the deal. Jennifer and James Tavares own the house, and they sold it without receiving a certificate of compliance from us recently. They sold it in February. The order of conditions required, good night, required the owner to install 3 concrete bounds along the 25-foot no touch, and of course, leave the 25-foot no touch and the wetland alone, right? In any case, I said, well, I didn't know, what was done, what wasn't done. I was receiving calls like crazy about this because, of course, they were trying to move. I said, I need to have a site visit. We don't just sign off on these. We do it at a meeting, and I need to have a site visit with the engineer. So we went out there, and of course, there was a deviation in that the gentle slope that was supposed to be next to the house wasn't there. Instead, they built a retaining wall next to the house. That's not a big deal. The drainage, this is the house that has the catch basin right in the driveway. The drainage comes off Williams, goes in their driveway and pours out into it used to be a farm field. Well, it's not a farm field anymore, it's their yard. That pipe was not put in the same location that we approved. They put it in a different location. Okay. But then we went to the backyard and the owner had installed 3 bounds. He did it on the fly right before he left for Florida. But he also left the area between the wetland and those bounds. It had been cut all these years. It was part of their yard. Well, it shouldn't have been cut. First of all, I think that was wetland, but on the plan they have it marked as a 25-foot buffer. Whatever, neither here nor there. But what bothered me more is when you walk in the backyard and you look in the woods. Now, this is a 5.5 acre property. There's a huge area where he had started clearing. So it's reverting back. However, I said I would like to speak with the new owners about this property to make sure they know that they can't keep continuing to cut the area beyond the boundaries. So I was able to get in touch with them through them. And they said, you know what? We were sold this almost $700,000 property for 5.5 acres. And we thought we were going to be able to expand our yard. We never ever would have bought this house. And
Who did their title search?
right? Well, no, the money's still in escrow. So the other owners left. I don't know why. What they were told is what she said to me on the phone. There was a zoning issue, and I guess the engineer needed to get something signed off. Not that there were any wetland issues at all. So now here we are being asked to sign a certificate of compliance, and I said, forget it. I'm not doing it at this meeting because these people bought this house thinking they were going to be able to go into the wetlands and do whatever they want because they weren't even told that there was wetlands.
Shouldn't have that been on their deed? I
Right.
mean, you know, usually they put the restrictions on a deed.
So now the lawyers are working at each other, but my bottom line is I want to hold off on this.
That's
The
fine.
other issue is I went back out there to meet the husband and explain to him in person what I was talking about. And he's
Lisa,
like,
did he register
This sounds like another Main Street.
did he register his,
Notice of
Or
intent,
conditions of
order.
yeah,
registry.
that's how they picked it up. But when their lawyers found it. The lawyers all found it. But they bought it, and the other people moved and put $15,000 or whatever in escrow. My thing is I went back out there, and one of those granite bounds is falling over now because the guy just threw them all up in like the dead of winter. The ground was frozen. He just threw them up. One's fallen over, and of course, that area beyond is still not established, and I would like to see it be. I would like to see it be left alone. Of course, the new owners are really sweet people that basically said, it's not your fault, we understand, and shame on us for buying this. However, we kind of want to put a fence up, we want to do some additional things. I said, well, anything you want to do on this property is regulated by us. So I would like for us to hold off on this another month, have that granite boundary. This new owner shouldn't have to deal with that, put the granite boundary back up.
Well, or they keep the money that's in escrow.
Right, so,
But that's between them and their lawyers.
Yeah, we should let them figure it out. Let them,
We're dealing with the order, no, what do you call
Certificate of compliance.
certificate of
But they wanna
compliance. So
know
we either
that,
give it or don't give it.
they
and
wanna
let them-
know that we're all set, and I'm not all set. Because there was a violation, there's outstanding issues on that property, and those people just picked up and moved
We're
away.
talking about 899 William Street?
Yes.
Okay.
Those people just picked up and moved away and for years, they had been cutting beyond the area. They even cut in the wetland. Don't tell me you didn't know you had an order of conditions. I'm sick of
Lawyers
it.
will figure it out.
I'm sick of it. It's just happening too often. But anyway, so we can deal with it at the next meeting.
Good.
All right.
I'll entertain the motion again.
I motion that we adjourn.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? How about the girl over there on the, she's not opposing. Okay. Motion carries.
Oh, there